time. So yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here this afternoon for Better Branding Equals Bigger Business. It's time to level up. I am from Busy Busy. We help undiscovered founders accelerate their brands. Super excited about our mission. Let's see here. And here am I. Last spring, Whitney said, I'm the partner and creative director at Busy Busy, and we help our clients accelerate their brands with our signature one-day website and one-day branding services. We work in real time with our clients, and we have a lot of fun doing it. And I love talking about branding. I love working on branding. And to give you a little bit of my quick backstory, I was an art student in college. And basically our art, when you get an art project to do from a professor, they give you a concept and then you have to make something out of it. And that's what I feel like a business is. It's a concept, and then you get to create this like interactive art experience around it, and you get to make money, unlike art a lot of the time. So that's why I love branding. I find it incredibly creative and comprehensive, and it's big picture and it's small picture and all sorts of fun things put together. So today we are going to talk about branding, and I'm going to start by clarifying some brand definitions to get everybody on the same page. We're going to check out 25 elements of a brand. We're going to discuss how better branding helps you attract, recruit, retain the people you need to grow your business. And you'll get to take away some actionable items and tools that we use at Busy Busy to help you do better branding. So I don't know if anybody here has, dove into the world of branding that much, but if you have, you know that every single person that works in branding has a definition of their own of what a brand is. And I think that might be because there's a lot of creative people in branding and we always feel like we have to do something different. I, however, am not going to take that approach. I am going to use Marty Neumeier's definition of a brand. He is a prolific writer in branding. His books are like super easy to read, huge print, really fun, fast. So if you need a quick read, I don't know if people can see me or not, but I think Whitney can. It's called Zag. This is one that I'm reading now. It's a good book. He has a brand flip. Anyway, Marty Neumeier. He also has a brand dictionary that you can buy, but I also seem to have been able to access it online and just look through all of it. So a brand is a reputation that's boiled down. Of course, I had to make it my own a little bit, but it's boiled down. It's a reputation. It's essentially a perception of what everybody thinks of your, business. In branding is I thought this was super interesting, any effort to make what you are selling more than a mere commodity. So, your branding is, you're not just creating a commodity, you need to create a community. And that is, what you're trying to do with your branding and then your entire reputation. So I love thinking big stuff about that. Wanted to cover brand archetypes super quick. One way people try to build a community in their brand is through brand archetypes. If you're not familiar with this, there's a ton of things online that you can find about it. But they're based on the Swedish psychologist's work, Carl Jung, who hypothesized that humans have ancestral memories that are represented by universal themes, and we associate certain imagery and experiences with these themes. And then in 2001, a book came out called The Hero and the Outlaw, and that is when marketing sort of adopted this psychology of the brand archetypes into marketing and branding. And Pearson and Mark, the two women authors, said that if we can find the soul of our brand and tap into those universal feelings and instincts, brands will be more memorable. So we have a brand archetype quiz on our website that you can totally take, and it gives you, your brand archetype. I kind of look at it like a 17 magazine quiz back in the day, right? You go through, then you find out I don't know what career you should have, or who your perfect boyfriend is. It's kind of like that. It's fun. It's kind of like the astrology, I feel like astrology of marketing. So yeah, check it out. I will put all these links in the chat and any other places that I can where you can access them. So next, we're going to talk about the 25 elements of a brand. So a brand is comprised of many things. And it's like a reputation, right? So just like a person's reputation, you base their reputation on like how they work, how they speak, how they spend their free time. There's a lot of things that create a reputation, and in a brand, it's the same thing. Now, don't get overwhelmed. You don't necessarily have to work on all of these elements at the same time, or even some of them may not be applicable to your business at all. But like a person, you have like this core identity, right? And I look at the core identity of a brand as your mission, vision, and values. And when you have your mission, vision, and values solid, and you know exactly what you're doing, where you're going, and how you're operating, all of these other elements will they'll just start to make sense. You have basically instructions or a concept. You have a concept to create all of these things that then become consistent. And consistency is incredibly important in branding. And we'll get into that later. So I apologize if you thought you were just going to be able to sit back and listen to a passive presentation. I recently went to an educational workshop on creating educational experiences. And I was told that there needs to be certain components in these things to make them valuable and entertaining. So this is my stab at it. We are going to be playing a little role-playing game called Let's Level Up. And we are embarking on an entrepreneurial journey. Every product we create, every service we provide is built on a concept. That concept is solidified with your mission, vision, and values. You're not just selling your products, you are selling your concept. You don't want people to just buy, you need them to buy in. Your mission, vision, and values are the first elements you need to continue on your entrepreneurial journey. To define what mission, vision, and value is, your mission is what you are setting out to do, why you show up to work every day. Your vision is how you want your business to affect the world around you. It's more of an aspirational statement. And your values are how you operate and treat the people and beings that engage with your brand. So, challenge number 1. Answer and document the following. What problem are you solving? And I like to think kind of historically about this personally, right? Well, for every business owner, you think about when you first became interested in your product or service, what drew you to it? Why did you decide to create it? A lot of times businesses are, created on a problem that they needed to solve for someone or a family member. So you want to think about what problem are you solving? You want to describe in 3 adjectives the most important characteristics of your products or services. So is it like long lasting? Is it economical? Is it eco-friendly? Is it, pink? Is that really important? I don't think that would be the most important characteristic you think of, but that is kind of the idea. Just 3 adjectives that are really important that you want all of your customers to know. That's what you're about. And then describe your ideal customer with 3 adjectives. Are they active? Are they busy? Are they fit? Are they couch potatoes? So I will give you 5 minutes to complete this challenge. And if you're listening to the recording, you can just pause it and we will then just carry on and move on through it. So yeah, if you're listening to the recording, go ahead and pause it. Okay. Moving on to challenge 2, we're going to play a little brand libs. So now that you've documented your questions from challenge 1, we're going to fill in the blanks here. So your company name, and if you don't have a company name yet, that's great actually, because these will help you inform your company name. So you could just put I or we, make or provide or provides adjectives describing your product. One of the adjectives or 2, choose 1, choose 2. 2, fill in the blank of the problem you are solving, and 4 client adjectives, 1 or 2 or 3 if you want to for now, and 4, the people, pets. I put pets in there because maybe you're making like some sweet dog leash or something like that the pets will really like, but you're ultimately selling to people. Anyway, I thought I threw it in there. And you have 2 minutes to complete this task. And again, if you are listening to the recording, go ahead and pause it.
Hey, Jane, I am doing these if you want to use me as an example.
Okay. All right. Yes. Well, we will give you the time.
Oh, I'm done.
Oh, you're fast. Okay, great. Okay. Moving on then. Well, mission accomplished, Heather. And I threw in that pun for you, Whitney. because you have completed your mission, sort of, right? But you might want to wordsmith it a little bit, work on it a little more, maybe take it to a copywriter, bounce it off some people. But with this important element, you will bring clarity to all aspects of your business for everyone involved. And it's an incredibly important just asset that you'll have that you will end up saying all the time if used appropriately. Okay, challenge number 3. Answer and document the following. In 5 to 10 years, your company, again, if you don't have a name, that's fine, will change either the industry you're in or your community or the world by doing what? Like, what do you change? Do you want to see affect your business to affect? And I will give you a couple minutes to do this. Heather, just let me know when you're done. All right. Oh, I meant to give you some hints about this. But here are some other vision statements from some companies you may have heard of. Computer on every desk and in every home is from Microsoft. I love that vision statement. Very clear, very concise. One day, all children in this nation will have the opportunity to attain an excellent education. Teach for America. So those are some nice vision statements that I like, that I see big picture and could see wanting to go to work every day to help achieve. I got these silly things in there that I meant to take off. Okay, so vision accomplished, kind of. Again, you'll probably want to wordsmith that, run it by some people. But congratulations, you crafted the start of your vision statement. You now have a prize for your eye, your beacon in the future. And in my past experience working for other organizations, when we like nailed down our vision statement, we put it on coffee cups, we put it everywhere. And every day I was like reminded of why I come to work. And it gave me a lot of satisfaction in the workday, honestly. Because we can get bogged down in the day-to-day and the number crunching, that's for sure. So challenge number 4, if you're up for it, we were going to transport into breakout rooms, but I think, Heather, would you like to share what you came up with? And I know you've been working on another vision, and if you're not ready to share, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I can share. So I'll share what I've done through what you have, and then I'll also share what we have already said is Joanne's mission and vision to see if they align, or if I need to go back and rework on some things.
All right, let's hear it. Excitement.
Okay, so our mission statement would be, oh wait, do you have the stick in, I didn't write down the stick in the word sentences.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so Doyenne provides innovative, women-focused product or professional development opportunities to, hold on, I need to wordsmith this a little bit more. Doyenne provides Doyenne provides women-focused professional development products to
like advance women in business or something.
Yeah, to get more women becoming entrepreneurs for greater recognition of women-led businesses.
Very good.
The mission statement that we have is similar, much more wordsmith. Doyenne unleashes and ignites the power and potential of women entrepreneurs to create entrepreneurial ecosystems where all women thrive. So that's our wordsmith version.
Right. So that's perfect, right? Like this is kind of the bare bones, and then you take it to what Doyen has. And so it's like, this is not, should not be your mission statement at the end of the day. You want to take it, you want to build it, you want to get people excited about it. So you got to wordsmith it and use awesome words like ignite and stuff. So yeah, but that's the general idea, is like basically saying the same thing, right? And these questions I feel like can get to your mission statement pretty quickly. And then how about your vision statement?
Okay, so in 5 to 10 years, Doyen will change the face of entrepreneurship by having more women entrepreneur representation and recognition in their communities and across national media.
Fantastic. Love it.
And then our wordsmith version is Doyen will be recognized as a leading national organization supporting women entrepreneurs.
Very cool.
Very, very similar.
Very similar. Yeah. Is the mission about so the last part of the mission that you filled in the blanks sort of, what was that? Like recognized by national media?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's that Doyen, the actual organization?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I just wasn't sure if it was about like getting more women entrepreneurs recognized by national media.
It's both.
Okay.
So, we want Doyen seen as a national organization through, not just local press, but national press as well. But the bigger thing is, like, one of our 3 core strategies is transform the narrative, which under that core strategy is around changing the face of entrepreneurship and through having more women being recognized, so that when you say who's an entrepreneur that you can think of, we don't hear Elon Musk and Bill Gates and the bros all again and again and again.
Absolutely. Great. Okay, cool. Great vision. And we shared. Okay, get out of here. Got another star. We're on our way to leveling up, Heather. Challenge number 5. We have a link in the chat, which goes to, well, there will be one in the chat that goes to completing your core values. We have a busy core values exercise / game, and it's just kind of a fun, tangible yet virtual way to kind of sort your core values and then write a little bit about them. So again, core values are how you operate and treat the people and beings that engage with your brand. And basically any policy that you create, any decision that you make, you should be able to look back to your core values and say, does this support this? Am I acting in an appropriate manner that would support these core values? So it is a very good way to take some of the personal, like business gets very personal and ideas get very personal. It takes that and puts it back on the business and saying what's best for the business and our vision for the business. All right, values initiated. Number 4 star in our role-playing computer game. So now we're going to talk about finding your crew through why you're here. And your mission, vision, and values like literally will help you find crew to help you build your business. So how does that work? So with investors, when you go in to talk to an investor, you need to be able to express clearly what you're doing and why you're doing it. That's just something they're going to want to know, and you need to be able to quickly say it, and they need to quickly grasp it. And then also you might want to find similar values for investors that have similar values with you. I listen to a lot of startup podcasts, and there's one called Access and Opportunity. And there was maybe a whole season about finding the right, this one was, I think they were concentrating on venture capital, but finding the right VC for you and talking about how, you really have to have the same values because if you have somebody that's just focused on money driven and you're more of trying to make a social impact and they're making you make questionable decisions that don't align with your values, you just don't want to be in that position because now they've given you money, you kind of have to answer to them. So really finding the right investors, finding the right fit for you. It's not just about getting the money, it's finding the right fit. So you have a great experience, and so everybody has a great experience. Here's a quote from a 10 key elements of a perfect investor pitch. It's amazing how entrepreneurs come up with a cool idea, but they don't tell us what the pain point is, other than the fact that they think it's cool. So it's just really understanding what you're doing, and having your mission and vision will make it more than cool. It'll ground it. Getting your super employees. Again, speaking from experience as an employee, once I knew what the mission and vision was, I know what I was coming into work to do every day. And I knew like what, when I was making a marketing plan, what that was supporting in the big picture, right? And then also with values, you align your values with recruits for better company culture. When you can find people that believe in the same things that you believe in and that other employees believe in, your culture is just gonna work better. People are gonna work better together. There is some stats out there, like a ton of stats about how mission-driven workers are just more engaged, last longer at the company, are happier at work. But in this case, mission-driven workers, 54% more likely to stay at a company for 5 years. So if you can get people engaged in what you're doing, it gives them a bigger sense of purpose, and they're willing to stick around a little longer. And fun partners. I can speak to this from experience. Candy Phelps and I are just working on becoming business partners. And Candy had a mission and a vision that I really liked and appreciated and thought I could get behind. And then obviously you need your values to align if your partner coming in, working every day, making business decisions, because even if they do, you're still gonna have disagreements. I put a quote in here for myself. So my business partner and I are totally aligned on what our mission, vision, and values are. We know what we are working for together every day. If we disagree, we can come back to our core MVVs and come to a solution that makes sense for the business. That's not to say it's easy. Business partnership is like a marriage, but it's good to have these things set in place. So if you're wanting to level up by getting a business partner, make sure you know what you stand for and that you find somebody that probably finds something similar. Not to say different things shouldn't complement each other, like can't be different, but I think that these core things need to align. And of course, customers, you need to level up with customers. So 64% of customers say shared values create a trusted relationship with brands. This is kind of like older data too, like a few years old. And I imagine that is just becoming more and more relevant to consumers as there's more and more choices out there. And it's no longer what has the biggest advertisement in the back page of the newspaper. There's a lot of more research that goes into making a purchase. And another quote from my favorite, Marty Neumeier: company culture is the complement to customer mores, the rules that determine how customers belong to tribes. The best way to shape company culture is to encourage adherence to a set of values. So basically, it all ties together, right? You have to have good company culture, which I think starts with those mission, vision, values, and getting everybody in line, and then that is going to be expressed in your outward, external communications and the experience for your customers. If people aren't happy at work and don't know what they're doing, people are going to get that pretty quick. Customers are going to get that pretty quick. Okay, attract your people by leveling up your visual identity and brand voice. So challenge 6, and we can just do this. You can just share and tell right away. We don't need to share in the chat. What product have you bought for the label? Anyone think of one? I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about that.
Wine all the time. I buy because of the label.
Do you have a specific wine that like really stood out to you that you can think of?
Yep. One of my favorites is called Goats du Rhône, like Côte de Rhône. So back to my punny nature. But yeah, it looked fun and approachable and like something I wanted in my little bar shelf.
Awesome. How about you, Heather?
I'm like that with food because I find that I'm drawn to, pretty, bland looking labeling, thinking that that means that it's like a sustainably made or good, quote unquote, good for me product until I read it. And I'm like, this is all marketing. Look at all this high fructose corn syrup in it.
So you're drawn to brand labeling and tricked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, some not all the time, but sometimes. But same with like body care products, you know.
So you're looking for sort of natural, healthy things, and you think this more like maybe minimalist sort of look is a look of that.
Yeah.
I think that is a good assessment of what you would expect, and it's too bad that it is just trickery sometimes. Okay, so all right. Oh yeah, you got another star for that market research you just did about yourself. So I'm going to come back to this story. I'm going to come back to your stories, and I'm going to tell you one of my stories. But first, I'm going to give you some hot tips if you're looking for people to do some design work for you to level up. All right. So professional designers should ask you about your mission, vision, and values before designing. This is really interesting because I would always think, yes, of course they will. But in all of the design podcasts I listen to, it's all of these designers like saying, well, yeah, I mean, I really just got interested in like brand, like the brand. I mean, you know, not that long ago. And I'm like, how many people were out there designing without a concept? Like, how do you do art without a concept? I don't understand. So make sure that they are really into what you're trying to say and asking you these questions. Like, what is your mission? What is your vision? What are your values? Who is your audience? What do you know about them? They should be asking you all those questions. There's things that go into design that designers and copywriters should know about, like color theory. There's color psychology. I've read a lot about color psychology. There's not a lot of hard and fast like science about it, but there's a lot of thoughts about it and what certain colors kind of perceive. It kind of goes back to that brand archetype and sort of this collective meaning of what certain colors kind of bring up in people. Of course, that changes for culture too. So, you know, red in America means something completely different than red in, I think, like China or definitely like India. You know, brides wear red to a wedding. That is something that we would never wear, you know, as a bride probably in America, or at least it's not traditional. I think some people would, and I would support that, but it's not traditional. And then, of course, tone of voice. When you're working with a copywriter, they should be asking you these same things. And then when you get some ideas about what you like, or maybe you've talked to a designer and you have some ideas, or you just want to test out some things before you go to a designer, you can test them out on social media, ask friends and family. I, you know, love the story of the guys at Fenrici who created backpacks and like asked their kids, like, what pattern do you like? You know, it's kind of, it doesn't have to be this insanely like complex and expensive market research. You can just start somewhere. And then for color palettes, this is an awesome tool we found at coolers.co, where you can make awesome color palettes. It's fun just to make color palettes, but then you can make those, throw them up on your social media channels. I don't know why I have these crazy like wiggles on all of my things. That was definitely an accident. But you know, this is an example of when I was working with a client and we came up with 2 different color palettes. You can see, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but you can see them here. And then got a bunch of comments. I put this on my channel. I got 18 comments from it. She put it on her channel. It's got like hundreds. And then we took those comments and this is the palette that resulted. And it's a beautiful palette. It is for a natural care body line. It is actually all natural. And it's a very minimalist, calming, you know, whole brand identity. So it's just, I think it's fun to get feedback. People love engaging with it. They feel like a part of the decisions in the business. You know, it's kind of like that whole crowdsourced everything, like Kickstarter, whatever. People like to be a part of your tribe. They like to help you make decisions. They like to support you. In general, people are pretty nice and fun and supportive. So who and how do you need to attract our like sort of key audiences we're talking about here today? Investors. I was at the early stage symposium, virtual early stage symposium in November, listening to a panel talk about their, you know, what VCs I think particularly want to see from startups. And Candace Matthews-Burkeen from Lightship Capital in Cincinnati said that designs attract her first. She wants to see a really nice design. And if you ever, you know, think of the statement, you eat with your eyes first. I think the same thing kind of goes for products and pitches and everything. Like you you gotta look good, at least professional, you know. Jonathan Ellis, another person on the panel, said your pitch deck needs to be the most interesting thing we see all day. So in addition to the content, you need to have some nice visuals to back that up, and a brand voice, and you know, not what I'm doing right now, but clear communication. Oh, it's so annoying. So super employees, attract with your voice. Of course you can attract with visuals too. Like, I mean, I love, you know, like Myers hand soap stuff, and I would like to work there someday. Or Flamingo razor is actually even better. I would love to be like a brand rep for them. But so my little story here about attracting with your brand voice goes back to my time as a manager for a small custom framing store. And we were looking for new staff and had put out a couple, like, you know, help wanted ads, you know, experienced professional framer, blah, 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 boring. And we weren't really getting any quality candidates, and not that they weren't quality, I just didn't think they would fit with us. It just like wasn't who we wanted. So I started thinking about who we were, like, as a group and what we did. And so, you know, we're a group of creatives, probably like a lot of art majors, pretty laid back, like to have fun, but framing is very, like, we did everything perfectionally. Like, if we put a whole frame together and there was a piece of dust in there, we would take it all apart and take the dust out. Like, that was just the culture that was created at that frame shop. And, you know, so it had to be perfect. So what I ended up writing for a new ad was seeking laid back perfectionists, and having, like, you know, creative background is desired, no stuff about color, whatever. And we got so many applicants. Everybody that walked in the door was like, oh my God, they seem awesome. We like probably did 8 or 10 interviews, and for like a small frame shop, that's a lot. And then we ended up hiring 2 people because we couldn't even decide between them because we had such awesome candidates. So really, when you're trying to like get new people to help you level up your business, really think about your values again, and what kind of person you want in there, right? With the tone of voice that you use at work. You know, I mean, maybe not like behind the scenes, but like if you are kind of casual at work and fun, I think write with it and go with it, and, you know, try to find the person, like those are the people that are going to fit with you, right, for your culture, and you will find your super employees. Just to remind you, all of these little wiggles. And then attract customers with your visuals. So we kind of talked earlier about, you know, Whitney going for the wine that looked fun and also was a pun that like totally resonated with her. They're finding their tribe, like they're going all out on that, right? There's going to be wine, and that was a decision, because I mean, wine is definitely a new, it's taken on a new life, I think, in the past like 20 years, but wine can be very snobby. And so when we see these other brands coming out and being like much more casual and fun, they know there's those wine drinkers out there, and they're trying to reach you. Yep. And Heather with her all natural things, like that's kind of part of that perception. Like this market has created this perception of what a natural label looks like, and some of them have taken that on even though they're not natural, but you still got to look, because a lot of them are. So yeah, and then just a kind of like a fun fact, I guess, that brands, in a study that was done, that was published in the Journal of Business Research, brands were chosen twice as frequently when they were in an appropriate font relative to when they were not, which I find, you know, kind of fascinating. Just that, like, if you have a bungee jumping company, you're probably not going to use some like serif font that looks like it belongs on a library. You know, they're like, who's going to go bungee jumping there, except for maybe some nerds that really like are scared about bungee. That's probably where I would go. Honestly, I'd be like, well, that looks safe. So I think that, but in general, you want, like, I'm not going to go bungee jumping ever. If I was, maybe it would be there. So in general, they want more of the adrenaline junkies, you know, that are going to like see like some hand scribbled, like, go bungee jumping brand. So anyway, fun facts about that. Just reiterating that, do your research and get some help when you're making these big decisions. And my story time. I just told the one, but I've got another one. Okay. So as I drink water that's not from a Fiji water bottle, I want to tell a quick story about how a water bottle changed my life, changed the course of my life pretty dramatically. So, and it's all about this beautiful package, right? I was going to the beach when I was in school. I went to the school at the College of Charleston, heading out to the beach with a friend. He stopped off to get something at a convenience store and asked me if I wanted anything. And I just asked him for a bottle of water. And he brought me this bottle of water. And I was like, what is this? Like, this was the first time I ever saw a Fiji water bottle. This was like 1999. And I think the company started in 1996. And so I was like, this is amazing. I've never seen a water bottle like this before. Like, I can't believe how much effort they put into this. I mean, I wasn't even into marketing at that time. I was an art student, you know, but yeah, I was just like, I was in love with that water bottle. And I am frugal. So it's not like I bought Fiji water all the time, but when I wanted to treat myself, I would buy myself a bottle of Fiji water. And then when I finished my undergrad, and that was like 2 or 3 years later, I decided I wanted to go backpacking. And I was like, well, I think I'm going to go to Fiji because I'd been carrying around these Fiji water bottles all the time. And they had a map of where Fiji was, which I didn't even know prior to that bottle. And I was like, if Fiji is as cool as this water bottle, it's going to be amazing. So I went to Fiji, found out that it was not what I expected. It is a third world developing country. It is gorgeous, but it is like, you know, it's not all just palm trees and clear water and waterfalls. That's for sure. It's a beautiful culture full of beautiful people and traditions. And then I went back and did that framing gig, you know, and then I decided to go back to grad school, and I went back to grad school for contemporary art from the Pacific Islands because I, you know, went to Fiji, found this Oceania Center for Arts and Culture when I was there back in like 2003. And then 3 years later, decided to go to grad school. 2008, I was back studying at that Oceania Center for Arts and Culture, and then came back to the States and put on an art show with contemporary art from the Pacific Islands that I had shipped over, and asked Fiji Water to help me, and they gave me a bunch of cases of water for the opening, you know. So I've really created this relationship with Fiji Water through my life because of this bottle. And I just wanted to point out like how impactful your design can really be. And yeah, so that's my story about why I buy things for labels or how a label impacted me anyway. So just some, you know, if you need any more reason to invest in strong branding to make money and save money and give time and thought to what you're doing in this realm, here are a couple things. And some tips, really, like you save money, like we need to save money. We're all entrepreneurs. We don't have it like flowing in yet. So we got to save it so we can buy other things for our business. So save by reusing the same ads. Everybody, like people often want to create something new all the time. They think people want to see something new all the time. They don't. They won't remember you. You need to do the same thing over and over and over again. We are bombarded with messages all day, especially on the internet. So the more consistent you are, the more, you know, the better it'll be. And you know, buying it in the same place, honestly, like if you're on a website, staying on that website for a while with a consistent message, you know, if they're the right target, that you'll go far with that. So, and you'll get more buying power if you do more, you know, that you can negotiate like, oh, actually, I want this many impressions if I'm going to be here for that long and spend that much money. Not sure if that made sense. Let me know if it didn't. And then you also save on outsourcing. So if you have like a graphic designer that you're working with, and you just go to them saying like, hey, I make eyeglasses and I need an advertisement that I'm going to put up on like Facebook or whatever, then they have no idea where to start, right? If you have your mission, vision, values, that's a start. Even better, if you have like a brand book and creative guidelines, you'll cut back on the back and forth. I was a sales rep at Isthmus for a little while and loved it. Worked with a lot of small businesses around town. One of my favorite jobs. And, but like I was the go-between between the designer and the client, and we would spend you know, the designer would spend hours and the client would spend hours like being like, no, that's not right, that's not quite right. If you just have some simple creative guidelines that at least have like your fonts, your colors, and some imagery that you would like to, that need to be in your ads, it'll go a lot faster for you. And then as far as hiring goes, a strong brand that is consistently represented internally and externally, like we sort of talked about earlier, can decrease on hiring costs by 43% because you're getting the right people in faster. You know, you're getting the right applicants, kind of like the whole laid back professional story. And make money. 82% of investors want companies they invest in to have a strong brand, and consistent branding across all channels can increase revenue by 33%, up from 23% in 2013. I imagine that's as we diversify our channels, as we begin like there's more and more places to put our messages, that's just going to increase. So congrats by just being here. I think that you have leveled up. And if you have any questions, my email is there, and I have a link that I can put into the chat to, you know, see my calendar. Love to answer questions, help with anything that you need help with. That's it.